Hey guys, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel.
Hi, welcome. If you're learning English and you want to sound natural, you're in the right place.
I'm Leo.
And I'm Eva, and today we have a big episode.
Yeah, like really big. Today we're talking about 100 English phrases for daily conversations.
Not boring textbook phrases,
Not how do you do, sir?
but real English, the kind people actually use every day.
At work, with friends, online, in awkward situations.
And even when you don't know what to say, but you still want to sound confident.
So grab a coffee, relax, and let's start.
So, Leo, I need to tell you something.
Uh-oh, that never sounds good. What's going on?
Okay, so yesterday I got this message
From who?
from my old friend Jake. You remember Jake, right?
Jake. Tall guy, bad haircut, always says bro?
Yes, that Jake.
What did he want?
He moved to another country, and now he works in an international company.
Oh, wow. Good for him.
Yeah, but here's the thing. He told me, Eva, my English is killing me.
Oof, that hurts. He said he knows grammar, he knows words, but daily conversations? Disaster.
That's actually super common.
Exactly. He said people talk fast, use slang, interrupt each other, laugh, change topics.
And textbooks don't prepare you for that.
At all.
So let's start simple. One of the first phrases he mentioned was,
How's it going? Classic.
but here's the problem. He froze.
Yeah, learners think it's a real question about life.
Exactly. He started explaining his week.
Like, well, on Monday, I was tired. On Tuesday.
But usually you just say,
Good, thanks. And you?
or not bad.
Or even pretty good.
Number 2, what's up?
Another one that scared him.
Yeah, sounds dramatic, but it's not.
You don't need a big story.
You can just say,
Not much.
or just working.
Or same old.
Number 3, I'm just saying.
Oh, this one is powerful.
Yeah, people use it when they give opinions.
Like, I'm just saying maybe we should leave earlier.
It softens the message. Number 4, you know what I mean?
Native speakers love this phrase.
They say it even when you totally understand.
Yeah, it's like a filler. You know what I mean? You know, right?
Number 5, to be honest.
This one makes everything sound real.
To be honest, I didn't like the movie.
To be honest, I'm kinda tired.
Number 6, I'm not sure about that.
Great, polite disagreement.
Instead of, you're wrong.
You say, I'm not sure about that.
Number 7, that makes sense.
Perfect phrase when you agree or understand.
Even if you don't fully agree. Number 8, at the end of the day.
Oh, very B2 energy.
Sounds smart. At the end of the day, we all want the same thing. Number 9, I didn't mean that.
Super useful in misunderstandings.
Especially in multicultural teams. Number 10, let me think.
Buy time.
Exactly. You don't need silence.
Let me think. Well,
So, Leo, honestly, when Jake told me all this, I felt bad.
yeah,
But also, I laughed a little.
same. Because we've all been there.
You want to speak perfectly, but your brain is like, loading.
And the other person is already on sentence number 5.
And guys, later in this episode,
We'll talk about phrases people use when they're nervous.
when they want to end a conversation.
Or when they totally forget a word.
So stay with us.
All right, let's continue.
Yeah, in the first part, we talked about simple daily English.
Now let's make it more realistic.
Work, meetings, awkward moments, real life. So Jake's first week at work was intense.
I can imagine.
He said people talked fast, switched topics, and no one waited.
That's when phrases like, let me think, become lifesavers.
Exactly. He told me in meetings, he often said, let me think for a second.
Which is perfect. It sounds natural and buys time.
One day, his manager asked him about a task he didn't fully understand.
Danger zone.
Instead of panicking, Jake said, could you clarify that a bit?
That's such a good phrase.
Yeah, much better than just saying, what?
And when he still wasn't sure, he added, as far as I know, we're focusing on the main features.
Nice. That phrase is safe.
You're not saying it's 100% true.
At one point, Jake explained something badly.
It happens.
So he stopped and said, "Let me rephrase that."
That sounds confident, not weak.
Then he continued, "What I mean is, we need more time."
Another phrase he started using a lot was, from my point of view.
Right. For example, from my point of view, this approach is simpler.
It sounds calm and professional.
And when someone disagreed with him, he didn't argue.
He said,
"I see what you're saying."
that phrase is gold.
Even if inside you're like, "No, I don't."
Did he ever just not know the answer?
All the time.
Same.
So he learned to say, "That's a good question."
Classic delay tactic.
Then, "I'll get back to you on that."
Which basically means I need to Google this.
People at his office also loved phrases like, "Let's circle back to this later."
Office English 101.
Or, "Let's make sure we're on the same page."
That one sounds very team-oriented.
When plans worked for him, he'd say, "That works for me."
Simple and natural.
One time, a coworker talked non-stop.
Oh no.
Jake wanted to leave, but politely.
So he said,
"Let's talk about it later."
smooth exit.
And when he wasn't ready to decide, he used, "I'll think about it."
Non-commitment at its best. Did he pick up any slang?
Yeah, people kept saying, "No worries."
Very relaxed.
Like, "Sorry I'm late." "No worries."
And when someone suggested coffee,
He answered, "Yeah, I'm down."
nice. Casual but natural.
He also started using words like kinda and sorta.
Like, I'm kinda tired today.
Exactly.
What about mistakes?
Oh, he had one.
Of course.
He missed a deadline and said, "That's on me."
Much better than long excuses.
Or simply, "My bad."
Short and human.
By the end of the day, everyone looked exhausted.
Relatable.
Someone said, "I'm swamped today."
Means super busy.
And finally, the magic phrase appeared.
Let me guess.
He said, "Let's call it a day."
Best sentence ever.
So yeah, Jake survived his first week.
Not because his English was perfect.
But because his English was natural.
And that's the goal. All right, his part is dangerous because we're talking about awkward situations.
The moments when your brain just shuts down.
And you're like, why did I open my mouth?
Exactly. So Jake told me something funny.
I'm listening.
He said, "Eva, English is easy when everything goes well.
True.
But when things get awkward, that's the real test."
Facts.
One time, his coworker explained something very fast.
Let me guess. Heavy accent?
Yep. And Jake understood maybe 30%.
Been there.
So instead of pretending, he said, "Sorry, I didn't quite catch that."
That sounds polite and natural.
Then the coworker repeated it, still fast.
Oh no.
Jake smiled and said, "Could you say that one more time?"
Perfect.
And when it was still unclear, he added, "Just to make sure I understand."
That phrase is so useful.
For example, "Just to make sure I understand, you want this done by Friday, right?"
Did he ever forget a word in the middle of a sentence?
All the time.
Same here.
So he learned to say, "How do you say?"
Classic.
Or he described the word.
That's actually very native-like.
For example, it's like a thing you use to, connect two parts.
And people usually help you.
Sometimes he laughed and said, "I totally forgot the word."
That makes the moment human.
One time, Jake said something strange.
Oh no.
The room went quiet.
Worst feeling.
So he quickly added, "That came out wrong."
Such a lifesaver.
Then he fixed it with, "What I was trying to say is..."
Very natural recovery. Let's talk exits.
Yes, very important skill. Jake was stuck talking to someone at lunch.
Too long?
Way too long.
So what did he say?
He smiled and said, "Anyway, I should get back to work."
Polite and clear.
Sometimes he used, "I don't want to take too much of your time."
That sounds respectful.
Or, very simple, "I'll let you go."
Short, friendly, effective.
Meeting new people was also stressful for him.
Especially small talk.
Exactly. So he learned to start with, "So, what do you do?"
Simple but powerful.
Or, "How long have you been working here?"
Easy conversation starter.
There was a moment when he didn't like an idea.
Dangerous territory.
So he said, "To be honest, I'm not sure this will work."
That sounds calm, not aggressive.
Or softer, I'm not totally convinced.
Very B2 phrase.
At the end of the week, Jake was exhausted.
Mentally and physically.
He told his coworker, "My brain is fried."
Very natural.
Or he said, "I need a minute."
Short and honest.
So yeah, awkward moments never disappear.
But English gives you tools.
You don't need perfect grammar.
You need survival phrases.
And in the next part,
We'll talk about daily life outside work.
friends, cafes, messages, phone calls.
And phrases natives use without thinking. If you're still with us, you're doing great because this episode is long. And honestly, that's exactly how real English sounds in real life.
Yeah, real conversations are not short, clean sentences from textbooks. They're messy, emotional, sometimes a bit chaotic, and that's totally normal.
And today we're moving away from work.
Yes, now it's daily life. Friends, cafes, messages, phone calls, all that stuff people deal with every single day. So after Jake survived his first week at work, he finally relaxed a little, and on Friday evening, he decided to go out with his coworkers for coffee.
Which sounds simple, but in another language, it's never really simple.
Exactly. He told me he was already tired, his English battery was low, but he didn't want to say no because he wanted to be social and not seem closed or unfriendly. Someone in the group said, "We're thinking about grabbing a coffee after work if you're free."
That's a very typical phrase. Long, soft, and not too direct.
Jake replied, "Yeah, that sounds good. I just need about 10 minutes to finish something, and then I can join you."
That answer is perfect because it's natural, polite, and very human.
Later, when they were choosing a place, Jake said, "Honestly, I don't really mind where we go as long as it's not too loud because my brain is already a bit tired."
That's such a good example of a longer, realistic sentence. Did he talk about texting?
Yes, and that was another challenge for him because written English in chats is very different from formal writing.
Very true.
For example, someone texted him, "Hey, are you around later or are you completely swamped today?"
That sentence alone has like 3 useful phrases.
Jake answered, "I'm kind of busy right now, but I should be free later in the evening unless something unexpected comes up."
That's exactly how people actually write.
At some point, Jake was late, which, let's be honest, happens to everyone.
Unfortunately, yes.
So he texted, "Sorry, I'm running a bit late. Traffic is worse than I expected, but I'll be there as soon as I can."
That sentence alone can save a lot of awkwardness.
When they finally met, small talk started immediately.
The hardest part.
One coworker asked, "So, how are you finding life here so far?"
That's a very open question.
Jake answered slowly, thinking, but confidently, "To be honest, it's been a bit overwhelming at times because everything is new, but at the same time, it's actually pretty exciting."
That sounds very natural and thoughtful. How did he react when people told stories?
He stopped overthinking and started using simple reactions like, "Oh, wow, I didn't expect that." Or, "Yeah, I can totally relate to that. Something similar happened to me once."
Those longer reactions make conversations feel alive.
When it was time to order, Jake didn't want to sound too direct.
Which is smart.
So instead of just saying coffee, he said, "Could I get a cappuccino, please? And if possible, I'd like it with oat milk."
That sounds polite and confident.
At one point, someone suggested another place for next time.
And Jake didn't like the idea?
Not really, but he didn't want to be negative, so he said, "I see what you're saying, and that place is nice, but personally, I think somewhere quieter might be better after a long day."
That's a great example of a longer disagreement that still feels respectful.
Later in the conversation, he said something very honest. "I'm still getting used to speaking English all the time, so sometimes I feel a bit tired or slow, especially in the evenings."
And that's completely okay.
After about an hour, Jake felt exhausted and wanted to leave.
The classic problem.
So he said, "Guys, this was really nice, and I'm glad we came, but I think I'm going to head home now and get some rest."
That sounds warm and natural, not rude at all.
When Jake told me all this, I realized something.
What?
Fluent English is not about short, perfect sentences.
It's about being comfortable with longer, imperfect ones.
Exactly.
And in the next part,
We'll talk about emotional English
complaints, support, opinions, reactions.
and how to sound natural, not dramatic.
All right. At this point, if you're still listening, you're basically living in English with us.
Yeah, and honestly, that's the best way to learn because language is not just words, it's emotions, reactions, tone, and all the little things in between.
So we're talking about emotional English.
The phrases people use when they're tired, stressed, happy, annoyed, or just trying to be honest without sounding rude. After a few weeks, Jake had a really bad day at work.
Those days always come.
Nothing dramatic, but everything went wrong in small ways, and by the end of the day, he felt completely drained and mentally exhausted.
That feeling when even simple questions feel hard.
When a coworker asked him how he was doing, Jake didn't want to lie, but he also didn't want to complain too much. So he said, "Honestly, it's been one of those days where everything feels a bit overwhelming, and I'm just trying to get through it."
That's a long sentence, but it sounds very real and very human.
Later, he added, "I'm not upset or anything, I'm just feeling a bit stressed and tired, and I probably need a short break."
That's a great way to explain your mood without sounding negative. Did anyone respond to him?
Yes, and this part was interesting because the responses were very natural and supportive.
Like what?
One coworker said, "Yeah, I totally get that. Some days are just like that, and there's nothing wrong with feeling this way."
That phrase alone can make someone feel better.
Another person added, "If you want, we can talk about it later, or we can just leave it for now. Whatever feels easier for you."
That sounds very kind and respectful.
The next day was much better, and Jake wanted to express that.
That's also important.
So he said, "I actually feel much better today. Things are a lot clearer, and I'm in a much better headspace compared to yesterday."
That sentence flows very naturally.
Later, when something went well, he smiled and said, "I'm really happy with how this turned out, especially considering how unsure I was at the beginning."
That's a great way to express satisfaction. What about opinions? That's always tricky.
Very tricky. During a discussion, Jake didn't fully agree with an idea, so he said, "I see the value in this approach and I understand why it makes sense, but I do have some concerns that we might want to think about."
That's such a balanced sentence.
Then he continued, "It's not that I think it's a bad idea, I just feel like there could be a few risks that we haven't discussed yet."
That's high-level spoken English.
At one point, Jake made a mistake.
Shocking.
Instead of defending himself, he said, "I want to be honest about this. I missed that detail, and that's completely on me, but I've already started fixing it."
That sounds responsible and calm.
Later that day, things got busier again.
Of course.
So Jake told his team, "I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed right now, so if it's okay, I'd like to focus on this task first and come back to everything else a bit later."
That's a very healthy way to communicate boundaries. What about casual moments?
Oh, plenty. When something unexpected happened, Jake laughed and said, "Wow, I definitely didn't see that coming."
Classic.
Or when he was surprised in a good way, "Honestly, this turned out way better than I expected."
Very natural reaction.
When Jake told me all this, I realized something.
What was it?
Emotional English is not about perfect words.
It's about explaining how you feel in a way people can understand.
Even if your sentence is long, imperfect, or a bit messy.
All right, here we are. This is the final part. And honestly, it feels like we've been living inside this story for a while now.
Which is kind of the point, because language is not something you learn in one lesson. It's something you slowly grow into by hearing it, using it, and feeling comfortable with it. So a few months later, Jake sent me another message.
I'm curious.
He said something like, "Eva, my English is still not perfect. I still make mistakes. I still forget words sometimes, but I don't panic anymore when I speak."
That's a huge difference.
He told me that now, when he speaks, he focuses less on grammar rules and more on getting his message across in a calm and natural way, even if the sentence becomes long, imperfect, or slightly messy.
Which is exactly how native speakers talk, by the way. What changed for him the most?
He said that instead of searching for the perfect sentence, he started using phrases that help conversations flow, like, "Let me explain what I mean," or "I might not be saying this perfectly, but..."
Those phrases take pressure off instantly.
And when he didn't understand something, he stopped pretending and calmly said things like, "I just want to make sure I'm following you correctly," or "Could you walk me through that one more time?"
That alone can completely change how confident you feel.
Jake also told me something that I really liked.
What was it?
He said, "Once I accepted that I'm allowed to sound like a human and not like a textbook, English became much easier."
That's such an important mindset shift.
Because real conversations include pauses, corrections, laughter, unfinished thoughts, and moments where you say, "Sorry, that's not the word I wanted to use," and then you just continue.
And nobody minds. I think this is something a lot of learners need to hear.
Absolutely. Daily English is not clean, polished, and perfectly structured.
It's emotional, flexible, and sometimes chaotic.
And that's why phrases like, "You know what I mean," "What I'm trying to say is," or "Let's leave it at that for now," are so powerful because they help you survive real conversations. If you're listening to this right now and thinking, "I understand English, but speaking still feels scary," you're not alone.
And you don't need more grammar rules.
You need more exposure to natural, everyday English.
The kind people actually use when they're tired, excited, nervous, or just being themselves.
If there's one thing we want you to remember from this whole episode, it's this: you don't need to sound perfect to sound confident.
You just need enough phrases to keep the conversation moving and enough courage to keep talking even when it feels uncomfortable. All right, before we go, we just want to say thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for spending this time with us and staying until the very end of such a long episode.
If this podcast helped you feel a bit more confident about your English, or if you picked up even a few phrases that you know you'll actually use in real life, please support the channel. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and share it with someone who's also learning English and wants to sound more natural.
We really appreciate it.
Thanks for listening. Take care, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone.